I felt unappreciative. Like, you lay your body on the line every night for your team. I know what I'd change. I'd change some things and whatnot, but I'd do it again in a heartbeat, yeah.
I'm a person who's been taught to stand up for what they believe in. And I truly believe that this is the right perspective to have in terms of playing hockey and pursuing your dreams of one day playing in the NHL.
Two kids with the same dream. The dream that pretty much every little boy in Canada has. To be a hockey player.
My dad built the backyard rink in my hometown in Campbellville, Ontario.
Hockey was almost every morning before school, early morning practices.
And my love for it kind of just took off from there, so.
I loved it. It was a way of life.
From an early age, both boys had their sights on the Canadian Hockey League. That's the top junior league in the world and the stepping stone to the NHL. This is where Crosby cut his teeth, McDavid too. Thousands of kids never make it this far, but they did. Meet Lucas Walter and Spencer Abraham. Their experiences in junior hockey were so completely different that today Lucas is part of a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the league. Meanwhile, Spencer is part of the same lawsuit, but in defense of the CHL. So how did they get to this point? Lucas will tell you that as a teenager, he punched better than he skated.
I must have been 14 or 15 years old, my very first fight. Right in the middle of the ice, I took my gloves off, I took my helmet off, and I got lucky with my second punch in, and he went down. And then ever since then, I thought, I'm good at that, right?
Lucas's fighting turned heads, and by the time he was 18, he was on a plane bound for Washington State to sign a contract with the CHL's Tri-City Americans.
And I went to the rink, I had practice, and then I think it was after the second practice, they gave me my contract and they said, yeah, we want you on the team and sign here.
Did you read it?
Yeah, I didn't really look through it. I was just really excited. I just go, no way. I've got it this far, right? Sign it.
Meanwhile, Spencer got drafted by the team just up the road. So his dad was with him when he signed his first contract with the Ontario Hockey League's Brampton Battalion.
I remember my dad, fighting off tears as he's driving home because obviously, he knew how hard I worked and how badly I wanted this. And, that's kind of when it hit home for me, really. I think, realized, what an opportunity I have and how special it really was.
Shot coming from Spencer Abraham.
They'd made it. The kid from Campbellford and the boy from Langley. They were on top of the world.
It's everything you dream of as a kid. You get 7,000 people watching the game, cheering, screaming. You're wearing colors and uniforms that you kind of always dreamed of wearing. You never really knew where you would end up or if you would end up there, but I thought that was pretty cool.
A little kid even looks at these players and it's like, that is where you want to be. This is a dream right there. Like, forget about the NHL. Like, it's so much in these communities and these guys are such role models.
But as their careers went on, and Lucas and Spencer suited up for hundreds of games in the CHL, their stories got farther and farther apart.
You develop not only on the ice. I think, obviously I progressed year after year in my on-ice ability, but I think the life skills is what you really take away from it.
Right.
You learn how competitive, the world is. You learn that someone's always, fighting to take your spot.
I wasn't playing games at all, really. I was rarely playing, right? I was out there one shift a game, sometimes 0 shifts a game, on the bench, no shifts, open the door all game. And then, okay, maybe you get your one shift, you go out and fight, right? So, a whole year of that, I was okay with it for 1 year, but after the second year, I really lost motivation.
Lucas says things got so bad he thought about quitting. Meanwhile, Spencer was playing with Connor McDavid and getting closer and closer to his NHL dream. But even as their careers were going in opposite directions, they were both getting paid less than $1 an hour. That's pretty standard throughout the CHL, where players can make as little as $35 a week. So when Lucas looked up at all the fans at his games, it didn't make sense.
These guys are selling out. There's 11,000 people at that Spokane game, right, against us. And I go, oh, maybe we'll get some money here, whatever, right? And I kind of looked and I go, that seems weird, right? It kind of shocked me at first.
So Lucas is there staring at a $50 paycheck. But when you're a teenager with an NHL dream, you don't complain.
I played forward for a little bit too.
What about Spencer?
Were you playing in the OHL for the money?
No, I was, playing there for the opportunity to play in the best developmental league in the world. And, my goal was ultimately to make it to the NHL. So I think that was, enough incentive for me to play in the league.
But now that Lucas's career is over, he feels like the league took advantage of him, and so he's suing. At its core, the lawsuit is about money. Lucas wants all CHL players to make minimum wage.
Yeah, we put in a lot of hours. It'd be nice to see the boys making a little bit more money and whatnot, right? So I see people get traded, and I see, the GM say, hey, you're a great guy and everything. It's all business. It's business. So if they're telling you it's business, right? It is a business. It's not a charity.
No, car.
The lawsuit is a hot topic with Spencer and his friends who play junior hockey. They worry that if the suit is successful, teams will go bankrupt and there'll be fewer opportunities for players to hone their skills. This is what the league argues as well.
This is it. This is the office.
Spencer takes me to his room to show me how much the CHL means to him. At the foot of his bed, the first thing he sees when he wakes up is a reminder that his NHL dream is still alive.
So this is kind of right before we were going out for my first game. Just kind of, thinking about some stuff. I don't really remember what, but it's a pretty cool photo. So.
Wow.
For Spencer, his tryout with the NHL's Florida Panthers is proof that the CHL works. He feels so strongly about it, he signed an affidavit in support of the league. That brings me to the other thing he wakes up to, an affidavit from another CHL player attacking him personally.
I grew up playing against Spencer, and I know him personally. He was never a top-level player, and he openly expressed his surprise at playing in the LHL. Why is this here?
It's just kind of motivation, for me to keep getting better as a player and as a person. And it's kind of a reminder that, anything in life, it's kind of you against the world, and that, the opinions of others don't necessarily matter. I got my acceptance letter to...
On the wall, there's also his acceptance letter from law school. Spencer starts in the fall, his tuition paid for by the CHL. For every season you play in the league, players get a year of post-secondary education.
Almost brings me more satisfaction to be able to do that, so...
Meanwhile, Lucas couldn't decide where he wanted to go to school, so his education package expired after 18 months. That's CHL policy. But Lucas feels like he earned it, and the league shouldn't be able to take it away.
I think I'm fortunate with where I am today. I luckily got a great job with my dad and stuff, and it's going very well and whatnot. I think I could be a lot worse. I don't think junior hockey really set me up for a lot at all in life. I think I kind of did it on my own afterwards, to be honest.
These days, Lucas works with his dad at the family meat shop. And even now, there's a moment from his hockey career he can't shake.
I got my very first career goal as a second-year player. And I got an assist, and I had a great fight that game. And the coach comes up to me, and this is the only time, good job, you did a great job here. Next game, I'm going to give you some good ice time, and we're going to see what we can do from here. I got scratched the next game. And after that, I just kind of went, nope, this is not good, right? Yeah.
Why, how did that feel?
Just like a stab to the heart, right?
Some people might say you weren't good enough to play. You're here, you
Then
are.
why am I there, right? You could have traded me. You could have cut me. Why did you keep me there for 2 years?
Now at 24 years old, Lucas wakes up every morning with pain in his hands.
They're starting to get arthritis a little, I'd say. But, yeah. Too much hitting helmets, right? That's broken a few.
That's a scar there?
Yeah. Well, they sound like crickets. Yeah. There's a few dents and bruises and stuff, but you had to punch helmets off if you're going to get in a fight, right? And then plastic, and it would just shatter your hands, right? But yeah.
Would you do it again?
Yeah. Yeah.
It surprised me that Lucas said he'd do it all over again.
Yeah.
That's how strong the dream is, how deep hockey runs in this country. It's clear the CHL works for some players, maybe even many. But shouldn't it work for everyone?
The funny thing is, people say these things, they go off like they know everything, and oh, these guys are just going for money. It's like, man, I don't even know if I'll get anything out of this. I just want the league to be better all around, right? The league's been the same way for I don't know how long. So to make it better, that's the best thing, right? That's just what I think.
If the lawsuit succeeds, what do you hope changes?
Fairness for the players, more safe for the players, and yeah, you know, like at the end of the day, I don't see the players have any say. You know, it's just, you almost seem like a piece of meat sometimes, right?
Nick Purdon, CBC News, Langley, British Columbia.